everyone, and welcome back again to another episode of Doodling Through Education. In this episode, we are going to talk about the Battle of Waterloo. So, we will be answering questions like, who participated in the battle and why? When did it happen? What else was going on in the world at this time? And what happened because of it? So, let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. The Battle of Waterloo took place on June 18, 1815, and is widely known as the final defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte. Remember, we talked some about Napoleon Bonaparte already in the last history video covering the French Revolution, and how he came to power in 1799 at the end of the French Revolution by seizing control of the government. He went on then to become the emperor in 1804 and expanded his empire across Western and Central Europe. He was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo by the British and the Prussians in 1815, and historically, this marks the end of his reign. But to fully understand the Battle of Waterloo, let's go back a few years and rewind to 1813 to talk about the events that led to it. In 1813, Napoleon had seized Leipzig, in present-day Germany, and planned to attack his opponents one by one, but was instead defeated by a coalition that included Austrian, Prussian, Russian, and Swedish troops. This forced Napoleon to retreat back to France, where the coalition forces then actually captured Paris in 1814. When this happened, Napoleon was forced to abdicate the throne, which, remember, that means to step down from the throne. He was then exiled to an island off the coast of Italy called Elba. Less than a year later, in February of 1815, Napoleon escaped from Elba and sailed for France with a group of 1,000 supporters. He got there on March 20th and was greeted with cheers from the people. The new king, Louis XVIII, fled, and Napoleon took power once again. Upon his return to France, the coalition of allies from before, remember it was the Austrians, the British, the Prussians, and the Russians, they began to prepare for war. Napoleon raised up an army in response and began to attack each allied force one by one before they could attack him in a united effort. In June of 1815, Napoleon's forces began to march towards Belgium, where the British and the Prussians were camped separately. He attacked on June 16th at what was called the Battle of Ligny and defeated the Prussians, but did not completely destroy their army. The Prussians then quickly regrouped and retreated to a place that was near the village of Waterloo, which is in what is now present-day Belgium. 2 days later, on June 18, 1815, Napoleon would lead his army of 72,000 troops against the British army, who had around 68,000 troops. The British army was led by a man named Arthur Wellesley, who was the Duke of Wellington and is known as General Wellington. General Wellington was an expert at combat and military strategy. They had also taken up position near Waterloo, where they were able to communicate with their Prussian allies. So, General Wellington, after talking with his Prussian allies, commanded his troops to take up a position along a ridge. The morning of the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon decided to wait until midday to give the command to attack because it had rained the night before and he wanted to give the ground time to dry out. This delay proved to be a great mistake for Napoleon because it gave the Prussians, numbering more than 30,000, led by Gebhard von Blucher, time to march to Waterloo to join General Wellington's troops. At midday, Napoleon attacked. He vigorously fought, but Wellington's position on the ridgetop and the arrival of the Prussian army was too much for him. By evening, all sides had severe losses, meaning many men were either hurt, had been killed, or had been taken captive by the opposite side. Napoleon decided to make one final push toward Wellington's position on the ridgeline, which proved to be unsuccessful. Napoleon then had no other choice but to retreat while still being attacked by the Prussians in the process. After the fact, many opinions were raised regarding Napoleon's decisions during the Belgian campaign that he led, and he was blamed for not appointing adequate commanders. Talk of many people also blamed Napoleon's health, which was said to be poor at this time. So the Battle of Waterloo marked the end of his military career. It is even said that the day that Napoleon retreated, he retreated in tears. There's a famous saying due to this battle, and it says that if a person has met their Waterloo, this means the person has suffered a final defeat. The fallout of this loss for Napoleon was great. France's dream of dominating Europe was now over, and on June 22, 1815, Napoleon once again abdicated the throne. In October of that same year, he was exiled once again, but this time to an island held by Britain called St. Helena in the South Atlantic Ocean. He died there on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51, most likely from stomach cancer. He was buried on that island, but then was later moved back to France and entombed in a crypt at the Les Invalides, which is a military complex in Paris and where many French military leaders are interred. At this same time in history, in the United States, the War of 1812 had just happened, where the United States had declared war on Britain and its allies in British North America. Knowing this fact shows us that this was indeed a turbulent time for Britain's history as well as world history. And that is all for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you are enjoying this week learning about the Battle of Waterloo. Keep at it, keep learning, and as always, be kind, follow God's will, and take care. Bye.